Today we'll be talking about trigger workflows again. And for today, we'll be starting to target the workflow triggers based on within the tab by itself. So for example, whenever you are in your sub account, you should see a screen similar to this one. You would go towards the left-hand side in automation. This will open the tab by the name of workflows. You would go on create a workflow and you would start from scratch. You are starting from scratch because you're trying to address a problem that's unique to you. But if you feel like you have a problem that has been answered in the other recipes, you can go to the recipes and check those out as well. So for today, we are going to cover the workflows on the right hand side. So whenever I click on the add new trigger, it opens up a window on the right hand side in which you can see a huge amount of workflow triggers. So for today's session, we'll be only be focused on the triggers mentioned under the contact category. And for this reason, Cohen will be starting to show you the workflows that we have already made in order for us to explain what each and every separate trigger means and how we can use it or utilize it for our business. So over to you, Cohen.
Okay, for our first trigger, we have contact changed. Basically, what this trigger does is whenever a contact has been assigned to one user, but then eventually assigned to a different user, that is basically the trigger. And what we're looking for is to notify the new user that they have been assigned this contact. So what we have here, we have the trigger, contact changed, trigger name, let's just call it assigned user changed, filters, the assigned user has been changed, very simple. Then what we want to do is make an internal notification to the new assigned user saying that you have a new contact that has been assigned to you. We want the notification type to be a push notification and basically like an email title, then message, then with you can add the contact name with custom values, contact full name, and it will automatically fill in the name necessary for this push notification. Now we have the message. Now the redirect page that whenever you press on the push notification, it will redirect you to the contacts page. And user assigned to the contact. This message is only to the user that is assigned to that contact. And this is optional, but if you want to tag this contact or client a specific label, they are interested in this product or service, or maybe it's a specific job assigned to this user, you can label them here. It is not necessary, but it does help with the process. And then you can also send a follow-up email to the contact in question, letting them know if you have any questions, you can contact this new user since they are assigned to them. And very easy contact change workflow. Let's save that. Next, we have contact marked as D&D. This one seems rather large, but it's actually very simple. So for the trigger, contact D&D, the contact has been marked on a specific channel, whether that be call, SMS, Facebook, WhatsApp, whatever. They have been marked as D&D, and we have a specific channel for it. So for this example, SMS D&D, D&D flag is enabled for the specific channel. We want the specific channel to be SMS. So D&D channel is SMS, and we can just keep on doing that for every other trigger. Then we can set up a branch. This is, if you refer back to the previous video, this is the if-else option or action. And basically you can make multiple branches that branch off into different categories and different scenarios that you might need for the specific workflow. So for this, we have which channel has been marked as D&D for the contact. Well, we have every single possible platform marked. And so say, for example, the contact has been marked D&D for their call, for calling, then you will want to notify the assigned user a D&D notification saying, hey, this contact has been marked as D&D, do not contact them. And then you would want to remove them from all workflows and then eventually delete them from the contact. And this can basically be copy and pasted to every other branching option. But with this example, we actually use the go to option, which essentially it's an action where you can basically redirect a path to another path, as you can see right here. So for example, email has been marked to go to D&D notification. So it'd be skipping, there was a call, specific channel, all that. So you can either use copy and paste these specific actions, or you can use GoTo. They essentially do the exact same thing, but GoTo is a lot more flexible. And that is for contact marketing and B. And contact tag added and assigned. For this trigger, contact has been labeled with a tag. For this tag, we mark them as a client. Now, sometimes you may have users that are assigned to specific tags. Say for one of our clients, LaborMax, you can have one of your workers be assigned to FTMs and all their questions and needs and all that. You can make a FTM tag and assign any user to them. And for the action, client has been assigned to user. User is dummy user, and they will be sent an internal notification. Very simple, very easy. And next we have contact with tag created. Our trigger is contact has been created. Is this contact a client? Tags include client, branch is called yes, other branch is called no, it does not include client. So if the contact is the client, it's marked as yes, it is assigned to a specific user that is assigned to any clients, and they will be signed or given a notification telling them, hey, you have a new contact you are in charge of. And if no, then they are assigned to whomever is not assigned to clients. And I believe that is all I have to show you. If Mustafa you would like to show them the rest of the triggers that we have available.
All right. So within these, now the next workflow we have is the for the one notes to be added. So if any contact, if any user adds any notes to the contact, the notes could be the replies that we have gained from contacting the user. Maybe they need to change something about it. Maybe they need to add or subtract from something about it. This is the trigger that you will use. And along with this, you have another trigger for the note section, which is a note change. Now, what this does is whenever note is either added or when the note has been changed, you can have specific action to go with. One of the actions you could have is either you can send out an internal notification. The internal notification could be an email, a notification as a push notification, or an SMS. Right now, we choose a simple push notification. The title would be Note Changed or Updated. The message would contain similarly that this contact's notes have been updated. The contact name would be entered over here with using a custom value. You go here and you select the first name, this contact. Now these custom values are dynamic, so it would change from the name of each contact. So if the contact name is Bob, over here it would say Bob. But if the contact name is Cohen, it would say Cohen, and so on and so forth. Then whenever the person, the user, whenever the person clicks on this notification, the push notification, he would be redirected to this contacts page. And who will be receiving these type of notifications? The person that has been assigned to this particular contact. Or you can use a particular contact if you want someone specifically, you have someone to view and review all the notes that are being added or changed, you could do that as well. So here we'll click save, and that's done. If you want further more actions, you can have further more actions as well, like add in a contact tag, removing contacts. You can edit their conversations. You can add further notes within it. You can add a task as well for the particular assigned user as well, and so on and so forth. And if you want to, and this is something that we would suggest to you as well, that you can just go down over here and see all the different types of actions, and then you can set up your workflow according to your needs. So we would save this, and then this one has been completed. The next workflow will be about, let me just show. All right, task added. So whenever you want to add a task to a user or a task has been added to a user, what will happen? So it's a very simple basic workflow in which whenever a task has been added to a user, whenever a task has been added to a user, it will go through this condition to whom is the task added to. So if you have more than one person on your team, you could have three, you could have five, or you could have like a two people team. This would check to whom has been assigned to this user for that particular task. And then based on whoever it is, for right now within this sub account, we have just one user. It's only going to select that one and then send out another push notification to this user that this task has been added as a task to you. And it will contain the task title, the description, and the due date. And then whenever a person clicks on that push notification, he will be redirected to the contacts page. This is the basic thing we do whenever you have tasks being added to users. Onto the next workflow. The same goes for the task completed by user. So whenever a task that has been assigned to a particular user gets completed, it can send out an email or a push notification. In this case, what I have made is whenever a task has been completed by a user, it would send out an internal notification. It will be containing that this task has been completed and the assigned user's name, the task name, description, due date, and you could then send out that this particular notification should be sent to maybe the branch manager or the business manager or someone on a managerial level. So for example, if I choose particular user and the user I select is dummy user, the one we have right now. So whenever any task is completed by any user, the dummy user or maybe the branch manager, whatever the person's name is, will be notified that these tasks have been completed by these users. So this is just for the internal management of the business. And finally, I'm going to the one that I really personally like a lot. This is a little bit hectic to make, but it works wonderfully. All right. So let's go on to the second page. Nope, not here. Yep, contact engagement score. All right, so just to give you a little bit preview about this is, for example, let's say that you have multiple ways in which you contact your contacts or your leads. For example, you send them out emails via a lead nurturing campaign, a cold campaign. You send them out the link to your funnel pages or to your website. You send them link to your appointment pages. You try to reach them on call. You try to reach them on SMS. You try to reach them on Facebook, Google My Business, Instagram, and all of the other social media channels as well. So for every channel that they are being reached out to, if they reply or if their response or their action is something that you would want to be notified about and you want to keep them accumulated in some place, what you can do is you can assign them a score. So for example, over here, you can just click on the plus button. You go down a little bit and you will see modify contact engagement score. Now you can add or subtract based on whatever your concept is, and then you can add a point for, let's say, 1 point. If you save that, so whenever this trigger happens, whenever this action is being completed by this particular user, they will be awarded 1 point. They will not be notified about it, but it will be recorded within the system. Now the question arises, why am I awarding them points, or why are they getting engagement scores? So for example, if you have like 1,000 clients or 1,000 leads within your system, and the lead process is about 6 months or 1 year long, you want to keep track of where your clients are within every stage. Have they been received an email? Have they been contacted via call? And how active they have been? Have they returned a positive response? Have they booked an appointment with us? Have they contacted us via an email? Have they replied to us on Facebook or Instagram? Have they visited our funnel? Have they visited our website page? Have they watched our video? And so on and so forth. The conditions are endless. So for every positive condition, you might assign them a score of 1. And for this particular workflow, what I have made in front of you, let me just delete this one. So what I have made is whenever the contact engagement score equals 5 or greater than 5, so as soon as the contact has provided me with a positive reply or have engaged with me on more than or 5 channels or more than 5 channels, this trigger will be initiated. What it will do is it will notify the assigned user about the hot lead. Since this lead has reached out to me or has given me a positive reply on 5 or more than 5 leads, sorry, if the contact has been shown me a positive response on 5 or more than 5 different channels, the assigned user for this particular contact will be sent out a push notification that this contact has accumulated 5 or more engagement points. Call him or her, since they are well aware of your existence and just need a mild push to bring them on. And what you can do is you can even add a task for the assigned user, and within the due date you can select either one day or you can select now. Since they are a very hotline, they have been regularly trying to keep active within your business. They are aware of your business, and the task would be reach out to this person, call him or her on the phone number that they already have within the system to secure him or her. And this is the way that the person, if I'm assigned a client and I get to know that my client has been active on 5 or more channels, I receive a notification, and then I can just call that person and provide them a face to face, a man to man call, in order to push him, to give him that little push in order to convert him from a potential client to a main client or a new client. So this is how you use this particular workflow. And one another workflow for the internal management of the team would be, if you have lethargic members, if you have people who regularly forget about their task or they have their task overdue, what you can do is create another workflow by the name of task reminder. Again, the names could you can change out the name as you want it to be. The name will not affect the workflow's capability. It's just so you know what these workflows stand for. All right. So for this particular example, I have said that I have 2 triggers. The first trigger is to remind the user after one day the task has been overdue. So if the task has been overdue by one day, it will be triggered. And if the task has been overdue by 2 days, it will be triggered again. So now we have an if else condition to check whether the particular task that we are talking about, is it overdue by one day or 2 days. If it's overdue by one day, it will be notifying the assigned user that your task is overdue. But if the overdue task is overdue by 2 days, it will be notifying the manager of that particular person that this assigned task has been overdue by 2 days, so that the manager can take the necessary actions regarding to make sure that this does not happen again, or whatever his or her standard of procedure is regarding it. Workflow would mark the completion of this session. If you have any questions regarding it, please let us know. And if you have questions and you want help with your own stuff, in which that would mean that you have something specific that you would like me to solve or provide you an understanding of, what you can do is, towards the left hand side, you can see that you have a schedule meeting button. You can click on that, and this would open up a calendar where you can just select a date or a time. You can just select a date and a time that's best suitable for you and is within my availability, and you can book a session with me, and I'll be able to help you with your specific task. Any questions so far?
Yeah, we actually had one question asking, can I make a reoccurring task? For example, can I follow up with a client every Thursday?
Yes, you can do that. What you will do is you can either put up a custom date reminder, or you can just set up a what should I say, a workflow in which you can trigger that workflow based on the tag itself. And that tag, if the contact tag has that particular tag, it will be reminding that particular person about the particular task you want. But again, if you have a specific case scenario, we would need to understand why it is being used and what does it need to achieve, and then we'll be able to have that happen for you. Any other questions? What about you, Christina?
No, I'm just following along on what you're doing.
Okay. Well, if you have any questions, if you have anything to talk about, or you want me to solve any of your reoccurring tasks or help you with the workflows, you can either let me know now, or you can book an appointment with me, and we'll be able to solve your problems. And if there's nothing,
think
Yeah.
I'll just shoot you the the template I made on what we're wanting it to be, to look like, and then we can go from there and see if that'll work.
Absolutely. If there are no other questions, then we'll have to wrap this meeting up. But again, what we can do is we can just show you one more thing is if you go into the automations tab, this is something that we suggest to everyone to take a deeper dive and explore on your own as well on what these workflows have to offer. But just to show you what the next meeting on the next Tuesday would be about is if you go into starting from scratch and you click on the add new trigger. So this week we have covered all of the workflow triggers within the contacts, within the contacts subcategory. Next week, we'll be trying to cover the triggers in the events category, which would be inbound webhook, call statuses, email events, customer replied, and so on and so forth, till funnel and website page view. And these again are very interesting ones and might be able to solve a lot of problems or might give you ideas on what further you can do to make your life easier. So that would wrap up today's meeting. I hope you all had a great time. And thank you for listening and thank you for being here. I hope to see you next week as well.